Okay, welcome home, group. We are here. Today is our huddle day, and we're working on dream boards. We're working on finding your word of the year. I have done a couple focus Fridays that I linked in our pinned post that you can go back to. We will be Jenny will be talking to us about dream boards or vision boards, whatever you want to call us. We hope that James will be able to talk to us about the word of the year. He's traveling right now, so we will play it by ear. But Jenny, I'm going to let you take the reins, my friend.
All right. Well, hello. Happy Thursday. I'm going to steal a card from Jason's deck and call it Thirsty Thursday. So cheers. I'm coasting into holiday break. Today was the last day of school for my sixth grader until next year. So here we are. All right. So I'm Jenny Serta. I am from Boise, Idaho. And I want to say, I'm going to call them vision boards. Just because I feel like the word vision implies more intentionality. You know what I'm saying? Like dreams feel looser, and vision feels more like something that you really are working for. So there's nothing wrong with calling it a dream board, but that's just my thinking around it. And I want to also say that this is the kind of exercise that I have not always gotten excited about. Like I've had, like, people will be like, all right, we're going to create a dream board or a vision board. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just drag my feet on this kind of stuff sometimes because I don't know, I'm a kind of like get to work, very practical. Let's just like, I want to earn this much money. I want to sell this much product. I'm kind of one of those people that tends to really put it down into the granular details. I'm like, I don't need the vision. I want to set some specific goals for how many people I'm going to add to my team and things like that. But a few years ago, looks like 2013, if I'm looking at my vision board, it says 2013 up here. I don't know if you can see it. This is the first one I think I ever did. Definitely the first one I ever did for a direct selling business. And I did it. Somebody probably suggested that we do it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this because I'm kind of new to this industry, and I definitely want to put out there what I hope to accomplish, because I really didn't have a good idea at that time what I could accomplish with this new business. But I had hopes and dreams, and I needed to make it into a vision. So this first one, some of you might recognize some of this stuff. This is from when I was at Posh, and I was working towards this very first incentive trip that was going to Half Moon Bay. And that was one of the things I was working on. I wanted to earn the annual award because I wanted that extra cash bonus. I had quit my career to do this, so I wanted to be an awesome mom. I wanted to build my team and make new friends, and then this is my little family, and I really just wanted to do all the things to make my family proud and to make sure my family had the things that they needed, because I was pretty worried about leaving a good income to do something where I didn't know exactly what I was going to be able to do with it. So this was the first dream board that I ever put together. And you know what? It all came true. Every single one. I mean, like it's hard to measure this family one, but my family is amazing. All these years later, 9 years later, almost 10, because I'm guessing this was done at the first of the year. I can't remember for sure, but we're doing great. This one is 25 years old and living her best life, making more money in her career than any 25-year-old should. So proud of her. But man, it's like, wow, it knocks my socks off. This one is a sixth grader. This one just finished his bachelor's degree after lots of years of working at it. And here I am still being my own boss all these years later. I earned the annual award. I went to Half Moon Bay. All of these things came true because I put them, not because, I mean, maybe because, like, I put them out there And it's like manifesting things. If you guys have ever read that book, The Secret, I think Oprah was the one that kind of brought that one to fame. But the secret really is just manifesting the attitude that you want, the things that you want. If you can say, I have a thing that pops up on my phone every morning. I don't know if I have my phone here, but it's like, I have everything that I need to be successful. I am surrounded by abundance, all this kind of stuff. And, we don't wake up every day feeling like we're surrounded by abundance, but we can shift our mindset and gradually that makes it so. I really believe that. Like, your attitude is everything. My grandma sent me a poem or a quote kind of thing when I was in college or probably grad school. And it was all about how your attitude is 90%. What happens to you is only 10%. How you approach it, how you think about it is the other 90%. So if you're manifesting all this fabulousness, and that brings your brain into the right space so that you can actually move toward it. So this one was a pretty wildly successful vision board, I would say. The next one that I did was a few years later, and it's not all 100% true, but I'm still working on it. But my idea was that I wanted to be able to have a patio with a fire pit. Check, I got that one. I wanted to be able to spend time in the mountains with my family. Check, we got a camper and we're doing that a lot. I wanted a new car. A new to me car. I don't really care about a new car, but I got a new to me car. And then at that time, this lot was the one I wanted to build a cabin on. And I started a savings account and I have money in that account. So eventually I'm going to have this too. So I mean, you guys, my dreams are not the important thing for you, but I just want you to know that you put them down and then it's like, it's kind of crazy how it just happens. And of course, behind the scenes, there are still the goals about how much I want to sell and how I want to grow my team and how I want to support people who are building businesses and all these kinds of things. But ultimately, this is what I'm working for. I don't get super excited on the paycheck, but I do get pretty dang excited about my patio with a fire pit that I was able to build. And that is what keeps you engaged when things are hard, because we do have some ups and downs in this business. It's not smooth sailing always. And we do have to get up and work even on the days when we maybe don't feel like it, if we really want to crush those goals that we've set for ourselves. But if you're laying in bed thinking, oh, I don't want to do it today, but then you envision yourself sitting by this little fire pit with your family, like just visiting. We have so much fun around this fire pit. We just sit around there. We have breakfast or lunch or dinner, or sit there in the evenings and just sit around and chat. It is the best. It is just such a good thing. So I just updated this one recently with things that I want. I'm still working on my mountain retreat. I've upgraded it. So now it's lakeside. I want to go, we want to go on an all-inclusive vacation. I promised my husband one when he graduated and we couldn't make it happen this year. So that's on the list. My son got scuba certified, so I want to take him and get certified. But the thing that I really wanted to show you guys on here, I think it might be backwards to you, but this is my quote, is comfort is not the goal. Freedom is the goal. And for me, I know a lot of people are probably like, I grew up in the Midwest, small town, just like good, hardworking folks, my whole family. And we really we were raised to get that 6-month rainy day fund, put your money in for retirement, and safety and comfort and security is the goal. And there's nothing wrong with that goal, but freedom is a much more fun goal. So comfort is great, but freedom is really the dollar amount of my paycheck is not really what I'm shooting for. But what I'm shooting for is the freedom to set my own schedule, to go on some trips, to go scuba diving, to go hang out at my mountain cabin retreat and maybe work from there or whatever, So for me, freedom is the goal. So practically speaking, if you guys are watching, whether it's now or later, just put in the comments if you've ever done a vision board or anything like that, because it'll be curious. I'm sure you guys have probably all set goals in some form or fashion, but have you ever done it like this? Where you went and found the picture so you can really visualize what you're working toward? Because I do think it makes a difference. Because I worked in higher education before I did this, and we always had goals. We were working towards budgetary goals or recruitment goals because I was in admissions. So there was always a very specific, measurable goal that we were working for. But I'm going to just borrow this overused phrase, but it hits different when you're looking at this beautiful mountain retreat, right? It just feels different. And it's something to get very stinking excited about, right? Okay. So if you've never done one before, if you have, there's a lot of different ways to approach it. Just out of curiosity, I Googled vision boards or how to make a dream board. And there's, gazillions of links that you can click on and find one that resonates with you if what I have to say is not your style. The most important thing is that you want to do this so you can manifest the things that you want, so that your head knows what you're working for, so that every day you wake up motivated to achieve the things that are on your vision board, right? So you're going to start out by really just kind of spending some time reflecting on what you want. And I think that can be hard because, especially when you're raised as one of those comfort-seeking people, like, honestly, the first thing that came to my mind when I was thinking this was, I want to pay off my house. Well, yeah. I mean, I think we all want to pay off our houses if we have a mortgage, right? But I was like, okay, you got to think bigger than that, because you want to dream big. Otherwise, you need something else to motivate you. So reflect and think about what are the things that you want? What do you aspire to? What would you have or do if there were no limitations? Because the limitation can be money or time. Those are the two biggest things that your business with the body shop helps you with. It can be really great because it gives you time, because you can work when you want and how much you want, as long as you do work. And it also can give you extra income. So the time and money things are big assets when you're working in this industry. So what would you do if time and money were limitless for you, right? So give that a little bit more thought. Would you start a charity? Would you build a cabin in the mountains? Would you travel the world? Would you send your son to Harvard, pay for all their tuition? I mean, what is it? What did you say, Henry? Oh, I think he said he's in for that. Okay, keep studying, kiddo. But whatever it is, it's going to be different for different people. These are my things right now. They change over time, as you saw from my first vision board to what I've got now. But really spend some time. And what I would recommend is, like how you brainstorm and there are no bad ideas. Just brainstorm and write it down or type it. For me, I got to type because I can type fast enough to keep up with what my brain's doing and just put every idea down. There's no bad idea. Maybe it's move to New Zealand. Maybe it's go to the moon. I don't know. Like, anything's on the board, right? Put it down on paper or put it down on your computer and your phone, whatever works for you, and start there. And then the next thing to do is just to collect. Well, I will say for this, what I'm talking about here is really creating a tangible vision board. So for me, it's a digital document. I just don't do, I'm not really much of a crafter. For me, it was great to just go grab some images off the internet and just create it from there. But you could create it in a picture frame. You can do a poster board. You could do a video collage. I don't even know. You could do anything that you really wanted to do, whatever speaks to you. There's probably some really great crafty people who are able to create something that's so gorgeous and has all kinds of accoutrements and special fancy writing and all that. Whatever is going to speak to you, that's what you should do. For me, do the brainstorming lists. And then I went through, and this is kind of my process for anything that I'm kind of mulling ideas around about. Go on the internet and look for pictures of things that you might like. Maybe create a Pinterest board just for your vision, like So go find, if you're me, maybe you go find different pictures of mountain cabins and you create them and stick them in your board, and find different exotic locations to go scuba diving, different things like that, and put them all in the board. Just everything, just dump it all in there. Don't try to, make selections now, but just if it's at all appealing, throw it in there, or even just do screen grabs and put them in a folder on your desktop, or go through your magazines and cut them out, or whatever really speaks to you. And then you're going to kind of start narrowing it down. Like for me, the most recent thing I did for this was just some landscaping in my backyard. So I pulled all these great landscaping ideas, and then I would just look through all the pictures, and gradually I'm like, nah, that one's got to go. Oh yeah, that one's going to go. I definitely want to keep this one, and kind of narrow it down. It's a process of deciding what your vision really is. And then you can start assembling your board, because you've kind of gone through that process of all the things that are possible and narrowed it down to the ones that are the most important to you. And then however you do it, the only important thing is that you put it in some format that you can see daily, hopefully for, at least a few minutes a day, if not more. For me, I have a little over here board where it's my calendar's there, and then my vision board is right next to it, along with some other just business tasky things. In fact, there is also a picture of how I want my backyard to be landscaped, because that's one of the things that I'm envisioning right now. But it should be something that you see daily. It could be, if you make it digital or not, even if you make it on a big paper board, you could take a picture of it with your phone and have it be your lock screen, so you see it. How many times a day do you look at your lock screen? Right now, it's a picture of my child, but he might get bumped. You never know. Okay, so assemble it and display it. And then you can't just envision it and then just go sit on your hands on the couch. But then you'll start kind of being like, all right, so what's going to take to get me there? And then, we're going to probably do some goal setting and different things in this group later in the year, or I guess not later in this year, but early next year, and to kind of set you up for success for 2023. So then you'll be able to put some practical pieces into place to help you accomplish your vision. So if you think it's like a woo-woo-y thing and it doesn't work, well, I'll just tell you, I feel like it does, from the place of someone who's like, I don't need something to spend my time on, but really just putting it out there, it matters. It makes a difference, and it makes it really, it just creates that vision. And also it feels pretty dang good when you're like, oh yeah, I did that. It's like, it gives you a way to check off those accomplishments as well. So I highly encourage you to do it. And then I want you to share it in the page. And when I get done here today, I'll share mine in the page as well. And then you guys can drop yours in the comments as well. Any questions, guys?
I love it. I love it, love it, love it.
Nice. Yes, there are, like Jess said, there's Canva templates. There are a gazillion templates. If you just Google vision board templates, you can do it any way that works for you.
It made me laugh because you pulled out a posh one, and I have a posh one out, but my frame broke.
Oh,
but
no.
I did the same thing. I just did it digitally on Canva, printed it off, and then I put it in a frame and set it right where I could see it every single day. And
yes.
One of the things I'm going to point out is when Jenny is talking about her dream board, do you notice that the things tug at her heartstrings? There are things that really cause her to be happy or to want to make them happen. And I think that's the big thing. You have to find the things that connect to you, because what connects to you may be totally different than what connects to someone else. And you want to put it on there. It gets you excited.
It does. And if you've never heard of, well, you've probably heard of Simon Sinek, but he's got a great little video. It's a TED Talk on why. The power, I think it's called The Power of Why. I can't remember for sure, but it makes a huge difference. We always talk about sharing your why, but your vision board really is your why, but it's just like putting it out there in picture form so that you can really grab onto it and start working for it.
This was mine from last year, and I did it on Canva, and I was looking at it when you were talking, and I was like, I did that, and that.
Yay!
So that was pretty good.
I love it.
Show you because I'm like, this is a Canva.
It's okay if you don't, because I know one of them right here. Well, my Simply Pamper closed in January due to COVID, but I knew I wanted to build a barn to have my pampering suite and my barn. Well, things have happened that didn't come to fruition. So I just moved it over, and it's so funny. I almost found the exact same barn that was on my 2023 that was on my 2021.
Nice.
So yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. James, how are you doing? Are you good, do you think?
So I'm not turning on my camera because every time I turn on my camera, I either get booted out of Zoom or everyone turns into a robot. So I'm gonna talk. We're almost out of the mountains right now, but I'm just gonna talk, and everyone's gonna look at the cute picture of me and Jason, and that's fine. So and Jason's here. We're in our car. We're driving. Hi, Jason. Hi. And we're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk about word of the year, which actually really ties in to what Jenny was talking about with the vision board. That it's a offshoot of that. It's what I've looked at use it for is like, instead of coming up with yearly what are they called? Your resolution. I was like, what's the word? Instead of doing a New Year's resolution, about 3 or 4 years ago, Jason and I started just coming up with words. And it was like, we saw it somewhere, like some post, and we're like, oh, well, let's do that. And like, I remember like 2019, my word was courage. And for me, it was an interesting choice because it wasn't like courage like everyone thinks about. It was courage. I needed that word or that reminder to be courageous, to be myself, to be courageous, to lean into some things that I was less likely to do. And it was, and I went out, and like a friend of mine was making bracelets with words on them. So I said, hey, can you make me a bracelet that says courage? So I had this bracelet, and it said courage, and I wore it every day. And it's been interesting to remember, even as I think back, how often I would just be in a moment, and I would look at that bracelet, and I would go, okay, I can do this. I can get through it. I know what I'm going to do here. And it's just that reminder that it's a word that's a reminder. It's a word that puts you back into that space where you're like thinking about what those goals are or what that vision is and where you want to go. And it is,
the word is like a roadmap.
The word is a roadmap. It's not telling you, I'm going to make this many dollars. It's saying, this is what I'm going to remember to keep doing every day so that eventually that many dollars will happen. Another word I used one year was balance. Jason, you just came up with your word for this year.
Yeah, impact.
Impact. Like it's a word that is descriptive of something that is aspirational, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not going to pick a word that's like mediocre or getting by. I'm gonna pick a word. I haven't picked my word for 2023 yet. I'm going to pick a word that is more geared towards something my best version of myself. So when I'm my best version of me, who am I? What do I feel in that moment? Do I feel courage? Yes. Do I feel balance? Yes. Do I feel whatever this new word's going to be? I haven't figured out yet. Yeah. It's when I feel the most comfortable, when I feel the most safe, when I feel the most powerful, when I feel the most successful. Those are also words that you can use: powerful, successful, safe, all of those. Joy, happy, empowered, strong, words that are descriptors of when you feel your very best self. And
affirmation words.
Words of affirmation. And you're just going to pick one. Now, how do you pick one? Make a list. Sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen and just start writing out words. Do not think about it. Do not try to put them in order. Do not try to self-evaluate. Just make a list of words and come up with 10 to 20 of them. And then when you do, like maybe say, I'm gonna come up with words for 3 minutes and just put down some words that are descriptive of your very best self and how you feel. And then when you have them, whatever number you come up with, go through and like decide which are the 3 that you're going to get rid of. So get rid of 3. And then do it again. Get rid of the next 3. And just keep going until you get to that last word that is the word that you're going to use for the year. I think it's always easiest to come up with the words that I don't want to use after I have my list. I can go, oh, I've got these 4, I'm not going to use that. And I can whittle it down that way. And it's a good way to come up with that word. And then similar to what you're going to see, I went and got a cheap little $15 bracelet that someone stamped the word courage on. You don't have to have a bracelet. You can put it, I'm going to say Jenny stole my idea because I actually was going to say it, but put it on your home screen. Everyone has a phone. Everyone looks at their phone. If you just have your home screen with just your word, it's going to remind you of your word like 3 or 4 times a day. Print it out, put it in a frame that's just by your workstation or where in your car, like print it out really small and like put it on your rearview mirror, like put it somewhere that you're going to see it and it's not going to bother you, but it's going to remind you of the word every day. Because just seeing that word is going to put you in that brain space of when you were thinking about what do I need to feel my best self. Like it's just it's a quick visual reminder of something that has an emotional context for you, and it is something we all have in us. We all have the power and the potential for bettering ourselves and being in the, like, and that word can be as simple as like here, like the word HERE, here, present. Like maybe your goal is to be more present, and being more present in the moment takes you out of thinking all of the what ifs, and it just puts you back into what you can do now. Maybe your word, maybe you want a big word like power or strength or success. Maybe you want a small word because it feels more comforting, like calm or safe or warm. Like it can be whatever you need it to be, but it should be something that reminds you of what you feel when you're doing your best job. And it's not about what maybe you're doing. It's about what you feel. When you're doing your best, what do you feel? What is that word? What is that word? What do you want to feel when you're doing your best job? Is another way of thinking about it. And it does go in, like, I like how Jenny said, the hoo-ah, like kind of heady stuff. Like it is, but it's also, if you go into the logic part, which is where my brain goes, it's like sometimes we need a visual reminder to snap us out of that logic or that constant like self-evaluation or hypervigilance in the self-talk. Sometimes we need, like myself, like I am always thinking of answers. I'm always thinking of problems. I'm always thinking of things I need to do. And sometimes I need to slow that down. And I need to stop that because it might be taking me down a pathway inside my head that's wrong. And so if I have a visual reference of that word that I have defined for myself, whether it be courage or balance or resilience or whatever, that's going to snap me out of that moment of thinking. It's going to help me go, wait a minute, let me take another really good one is breathe. Ooh, that one has lots of good connotations. But have something visual that it's going to catch your eye, it's going to stop you for a second, it's going to remind you of what your purpose is. It's going to allow you to catch yourself when you go into negative self-talk or a self-doubt or self-consciousness or feeling like you can't do something, because we can. We just, as humans, I think, especially in this day and age, we like to tell ourselves all the things we can't do because it's real easy to figure out and make that list versus the list of what we can do. Like, people really don't like making the list of what they're good at. They really like telling me what they're not good at. And myself included, like, I can tell you all my faults. Talking about everything I'm good at is harder for me to say. So that word is going to help you do that. If you are like most of us who came from Posh, who had a rocky 2022, we all need a positive word in our life. We all need something to go, yeah, I'm having to start over again, and it's bumpy and it's rocky, but you know what? I've done it before. Now, I know how to do this. Or maybe this is the new start you needed to like get rid of that. It really gives, like, renew. There's another one. Rebirth. Whatever. Like, there's lots of words out there that could be the word that you need for 2023 that helps you get from beginning to end and get to that end spot where maybe you're checking off the things on your vision board, or you're feeling good about what you did in the next year. And this is just another way to get there. So that's all of James speaking. I hope that came through and it didn't get too garbled.
I think it was really good, James. And one of the other things I'd like to reiterate is, like what James said, feel good, put it on I put mine on my board for 2023. My word is purposeful. And you may have more than one word, things may pop up. It may be a saying. I know the words, like if you go through, like, I know me and Jessica share a lot of affirmations. You may, reading through affirmations, find a word that you really connect with, and put it in front of you, like what James says. I was laughing because James is like, make a bracelet of it. And I'm like, that is so good. I don't recommend you tattoo it on you like I did, but my word of the year, 2021 and 2022 was dauntless, which was fearless. And it's tattooed here. And I see it every single day when I'm doing planks at the gym, when I'm cycling on my bike, when I'm doing hard things. I look down and I'm like, dauntless, fearless, I can do this. And that's what you want it to do for you. You want it to remind you to be in that place where you're your best self. I'm purposeful. I'm being purposeful with what I'm doing. I'm dauntless. I'm fearless. My fitness one is you versus you. My goal is to do an Ironman at September 10th of 2023. So in my head, I see the words you versus you, because that's what that challenge is for me. So no matter, as you're doing your dream board, or you're, like James said, you're writing those words down, find the one, again, that tugs at you and encourages you to be your best self. I know, Jessica, did you pick a word yet this year?
Not this year. Last year, though, my phrase was to be still and not make any rash decisions, because I tend to make rash decisions when I'm under pressure. And last year was very pressure focused. So for me, it was to be still. And I definitely felt that, especially towards the end of the year, and just keeping the stillness. But no, this year I'm kind of torn. I have a few I'm playing with, but I'm going to go through and do the list that James recommended. I think that'll help.
Good. Anybody else have a word or something they would like to say about the vision boards, the word of the year? Share anything? I was going to go into some specific action items. I think we'll wait on that. I think we need the time to kind of go through, create our vision boards, create our word, and then we'll kind of break it down into more specifics. Because as we're looking into January, we want to do some calendar planning. And with calendar planning comes with taking those big goals and breaking them down into smaller goals within the year, within the month, within the week, within the day. It's peeling back the onion layers to make it realistic. Because one of the things that, you know, I really captured from Jenny was Jenny has a goal, and her goal is this land, is this cabin, but she doesn't just have a goal. She has a savings account in which she's saving for that goal. So it's not like putting a dream board out there without any action. You have to have the action behind the vision or the dream. And it may not be, you like she said, it didn't happen the first year, but she's still working on it. And so those are some of the action items that as we look at calendar planning, you can take that dream board, you can take that word, and we'll peel back the onion layers and make them very actionable for you in 2023. So any questions, any input on anything?
Going to add, I'm going to post some things in the next week too in the Welcome Home to You page, just to keep talking about the word of the year, and giving some people some tools on how to find their own. And or like I'm just thinking as I was sitting here, like I'll find some kind of vendor, like, hey, here's somewhere you can go and get a bracelet, like something like that. Like they're out there, and continuing to reinforce and support that over the next week, even though we're all doing holiday stuff, but just so that, you know, we keep it in our mind as we have those 5 minutes between, you know, shopping and family and dinner and all of that over the next 2 weeks.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Jenny. Thank you, James. We appreciate all of the great input. Very awesome. Thank you, Tanya, Lynn, Laura, for being here. I will get this downloaded and uploaded to the Welcome Home page tomorrow, but I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's dream boards and word as we go into 2023. Yay!
Thank you, Shalene.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you over on the page.
Have a good night.